All right, we're live. We're hot on the mic. So today we got Vince and Hector, who you guys we've known each other for quite a while now, and y'all are crushing it. So I'm gonna let you guys give yourself an introduction because, you know, I don't think I can beat that art behind Vince's face. I just don't think it's possible.
Well, I guess I'll go first. Hey guys, my name is Vince. Been doing real estate investing for about 2 years and a half. I started off like a lot of people. I read Rich Dad Poor Dad during my paternity leave from my corporate job when I worked at Sherwin-Williams, and I decided not to go back to that job after reading that. So I jumped into real estate in 2019 and got into my first flip. Fell on my face because it was a big flip. I overpaid for it. I didn't know how to run numbers and stuff like that. And that pushed me into learning wholesaling. And I was like, man, I should have just started off wholesaling. Like it's so much easier and less risk. So yeah, it kind of pushed me to learn that and got a few deals under my belt in wholesaling. And then I joined forces with Hector in the end of 2019. I mean, end of 2020. So just a quick summary. I'm sure we'll dive a little bit deeper later on.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure, Hector.
so what's going on, everybody? My name is Hector Martinez, and very much like Vince, I was at a dead end job working a 9 to 5 at Wells Fargo Bank. Believe it or not, I was a licensed banker, and yeah, it was sucking the life out of me. So I decided that that needed to stop. And it's crazy because during that time, everybody that I would meet, and I would literally, my job was basically a glorified appointment setter. And it was like just setting up appointments with high, net worth individuals and putting them in front of the financial advisor. And all those guys were like in real estate, or they were doing some type of multifamily investment, or doing something in real estate. And really like sparked my interest then, but really didn't think it was possible to get into real estate. And I think fast forward a year later, I joined a buddy of mine starting a company. Didn't really take off that well, but through that, met some really, really awesome individuals, guys that were subcontractors, contractors for multifamily construction. So they owned a construction company, and they what they did, they did paint and drywall for like 200 units, 300 units at a time. So they had all the connections in the real estate world, builders, people, and they were flipping on their own. They were holding rentals on their own, and the owner actually just started advising me on real estate, and I started asking lots of questions and lots of just like, how do you do this? Like I want to, hold on to a property. I want to invest in real estate, and just asking questions, man, but obviously providing value to them by a way of just working for them. I was like overseeing their finance department at the time. And yeah, just fast forward another year. I was with them for like, I think, a year or two. Um, they were the ones that first got me started in real estate. They led me, like, my first private money really came from the owners of that company. Found the flip through the MLS, and that was my first flip ever. Did, I think, a couple that year. In the following year, like Vince said, we linked up, and then boom, it just exploded. So that's little brief history.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it. So how'd you guys even meet?
Yeah, so Hector and I actually knew each other at church. My wife and I, when we moved to Atlanta from Florida back in 2014, before we got married, we were living in the city, and then we moved up to Woodstock because we found a church that Hector and his wife was going to at the time. And we started to basically start our life in Woodstock area, and we started consistently going to church, started becoming friends and closer to Hector and his family, and that's how we met. I don't know, Hector, want to add on to that story, but yeah, that's basically how we met at church.
Yeah, we met at church, man. And actually, it's funny because I think Vince and I actually got started at the same time in real estate. Like, well, we didn't know it. We didn't really like knew that that was happening all along in the background, but we were, seeing each other on Sunday, and we weren't even really talking about real estate.
Yeah.
But then I took that job at the construction company, and then that's when I started getting to flips and started seeing what Vince was doing. I think you were the first one to like start posting on social media, Vince, on like real estate and stuff.
Who, me?
Yeah, I think so. And because I think that's how I found out.
Yeah.
But long story short, yeah, that's how we met, and then we had a conversation that really like changed the course of both of our lives, man.
Both our lives, for sure. Yeah, I think the biggest thing that the connection that drew us to being in a partnership was our family dynamic. We both have 2 kids. We both have a wife. We both go to the same church. We both like real estate. So that just deepened our relationship to try to form something that basically builds onto that that relationship that we're trying to form.
Mm-hmm. I would agree with that. You guys are both, out of any of the real estate people I've met, I know you guys are some of the best people, just genuine people, and I think that's really underrated. You guys are always acting, honestly, just like, I always feel like a terrible person when I hang out with y'all. I'm like, dude, like, y'all are just so good. Y'all are so good, so nice.
Yeah.
I would say you're pretty genuine too,
Oh,
Chandler.
for sure,
I think
Chandler.
that's why we drew to you and Gino, because like you meet a lot of different people in real estate, and honestly, you draw to the energy that you carry. I think
Right,
you know what I
exactly.
mean, and we kind of
Mhm.
drew to you guys because you were like, look, we're not. What I liked about you guys is like you came with the mentality and the heart, like the spirit of like, we don't know everything, but we want to know everything, and we're just going to try really hard and be the hardest worker in the room. And any knowledge that I have, you can have. And so that speaks volumes of you and Gino at your age.
Yeah,
Like
for sure.
I probably wasn't this nice and genuine like when I was
Exac-
probably
exactly.
a jerk. Like, don't talk to me. I got it figured out. Get away from me. But
Yeah,
you
I think
guys are crushing it.
the biggest thing that just having conversations with you and Gino is just thinking about you guys' mindset, like Hector said, at your age that you have. And it's one of those things where it's like, it could be a lot of people our age that will look down at that, but us, we kind of embrace it. We inspire to get strategic like you guys, to dive deeper into our business like you guys, help more people like you guys. So it's really important for us on you guys' platform to share that with you guys. Like, you guys have motivated us, you guys have encouraged us from afar, you guys have helped us strategically line up our business to the way that we want to line it up to. You guys have challenged us in that regard. So I really appreciate that.
I'm glad that you think that's really. I'm glad that that's the way you feel, because it's super important to line up what your business is to where your life is too. Like, how do you? They have to be the same. They have to be going in the parallel. It's like, if you want to have a life where you can travel and be free and like have a family and do all this, like, you guys are perfect examples. Like, Wednesday, Vince, you don't go to the office because you're at home with your family,
Yeah.
or the weekends you guys don't work, and you built your business to where you can do the things that are important to you. And it's like the same thing for us. Like, for us, it's important to be able to travel and to be able to go and have all these experiences. So as we did a virtual business, and I think it's underrated to not have that, or it's underrated to have that end goal in mind. And there was something that I heard the other day. I think it was Alex Hormozy was talking about it. I love Alex Hormozy. I'm sure y'all, I don't know if y'all have
Yeah,
ever watched his stuff,
sure.
Yeah.
but he's like, the people who are the richest people, and like, not that all we care about is money, but money does help, you accomplish things, but the richest people think the farthest ahead into the future.
Mm.
And I think I never really realized that, but most people who, now that he said that, and most people who I talk to, like the ones who are more successful, do talk about 5 years down the road, because they know between 0 and 5 years, they'll figure everything out between then. But they have to be intentional now to where they can get to where they want to be 5 years from now, or 10 years, or whatever it is. I think it's pretty, like, you guys do a great job of that as well. I see it every day with I strive to be more of a family man like y'all, because that's like that's my weakness.
Dude, I strive to be a hiker, and that's never gonna happen.
Yeah. Exactly.
No, I'm kidding, but yeah, there's got to be a balance, man. And we were just on another mastermind call with Ryan Pineda, and he talks about, like, I actually wrote it down in a little sticky note as a reminder, because it's like, do you love what you're doing?
Yeah,
What is it in your job, in your career, in your business, and what, even in like your specific area of your business, that you love, and
right.
are you enjoying it? Because if you're not, it's all about money. It's like that's not what brings you joy at the end of the day.
Yeah,
It's like what brings you joy, the most joy, and yeah, for me, for us, I think I can speak for Vince too. It was like balance. Like,
yep,
this is why we partnered up. It was like, dude, you're gonna hold down the fort when I'm with my family, and I'm gonna hold down the fort when you're with your family, and up and down we go. We may not make as much money as other guys, you know what I mean? But to us, we're as just as rich because it brings us the most joy. You know what I mean?
yeah, for sure.
That was like a really big conversation in the very beginning for
Yeah,
Vince and I's partnership. It was like, dude, is this the same like vision that you have? Because I'm not looking to be in the office like 60, 80 hours a week, and I'm not looking to work weekends. I'm not, you know, and we pretty much set a expectation right up front. It's like, this
yeah,
is what the culture is going to look like, and if we only hit 2 million a year, then so be it.
yeah,
But we're going to enjoy, the process. So but yeah, and I love what you built, Chandler. Like, dude, you're out there and you're able to work and still do what you want to do. But you created this life, and like, I see you talk about that all the time, that you really enjoy. And a lot of people miss that. And it's like,
yeah,
you don't have to miss that,
yeah,
It's the whole
yeah.
reason we started the entrepreneurship journey is to create the life that you want.
Right.
And then a lot of
Yeah.
people get sucked into just like not
Oh
doing
man,
that, you know?
for sure.
And it's so sad. So, and I want to talk about y'all's relationship with Ryan because I think Ryan's been super impactful in my
For
life
sure.
as
Yeah.
well. But how do y'all balance the like back and forth? Because Hector, like you said something that kind of stood out is like you're covering me when I'm with my family, I cover you when I'm with my family, vice versa. How does that like? Has there ever been any like tension, or did you guys just do a really good job with expectations up front?
Yeah, I think one of the things that when we first joined Ryan's mastermind for his coaching, one of the things that he had us do is an exercise to basically set the roles and the responsibilities down the middle so that we're both not doing the same thing. At times we do a terrible job of doing that because both of us both of us like to see stuff done. Like we like to
Yeah.
get stuff done like right away. And that's definitely have been a struggle. Even us with our employees, like trusting that they're going to get stuff done. That's definitely have been a struggle on our end. I think that was the biggest thing that he did, where it's like, though I know a little bit of project management, like that's not my lane. Like I don't enjoy talking about construction. I don't enjoy any of that stuff. Hector may not enjoy it either, but he understands it more than I do, type thing. So that was like one of the biggest things. Like I don't want to be involved in much of the project management of these flips and stuff. I like the sales. I like the operational stuff. I like this stuff. This is the stuff where I feel that I'm really good at structuring and making sure that the team have the resources that they need to be in the best position to win on a day-to-day basis. So we basically just had that conversation, and it's basically just laying down the expectations and the roles and responsibility and what each person is responsible for, and having that accountability towards each other and saying, hey, what's happening in this area, what's happening in that area, and figuring out a solution to those problems that you're having in that. I know Hector may have something to add on to that for sure.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So like, Ryan has been extremely influential in our lives, just to he's a constant reminder of like the why, right?
Yeah,
Why did you go on this
constant.
journey? Why did you start this? Like, remember your why. But he's also been pretty instrumental with our setup and our partnership, because like I remember just having this strategic conversation with him about, you know, understanding each other's personalities, you know what I mean? And like what my strength is and what Vince's strength is, and not mixing the two. And had it not been for that advice and that mentorship that we got, we probably be, not where we are now. We
Yeah,
probably would have, had maybe some arguments, or I don't know, maybe things would have not worked out the way they did. But it was definitely like understanding. You have to understand your personality type. And that was the biggest, like most life-changing advice they could have given us. He could have
Yeah.
given us like understand what your role is, what his role is, and how you collide the two and work, with each other. But it interestingly enough, like, yeah, I said, you hold down the fort when I'm out, and I'll hold down the fort when you're out. But it's funny because like now we travel together and like our family, like we just
Yeah.
went to Disney and
Yeah.
we dropped way too much money on that trip, and it was like but it was our kids are the same age pretty much, and our wives get along really well. So it's like it's so important to work with people that you actually like,
Yeah.
that you actually like have the same morals and values,
Mhm.
and it's interesting. But I've been wanting to ask you, like, how is Gino's and your relationship, like, when we're talking about these personality types, and
Hmm.
Mhm.
what's your dynamic? Just wondering.
Yeah. So our dynamic from a personal standpoint is we're like best friends. So
Okay.
like we're both cut ups the whole time.
Yeah.
Like when we're together, it's kind of like almost like a show, I would
Yeah.
say, in a
Yeah.
sense. We just go back and forth, like, roasting each other, making jokes, all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of our personal dynamic. Our dynamic professionally, so Gino is the relationships guy. That's what he's amazing at. He's amazing at sales. He crushes that. My strength is innovation. So really, just like I can look at something and just tell you like this thing sucks because of X, Y, and Z. I'll make it better, even if I don't know anything about it.
Mm.
So like that's like my strength. So really, we just kind of operate in those zones of genius, and then so whatever
Did you
what
guys
for
do
right now. Go ahead. Go
did,
ahead.
did you guys do the PI test, the predictive intest test?
Yeah. Yeah. So 2 years ago when I took it the first time, I was a venturer. I took it like 3 weeks ago, and I was a maverick. Um,
Mm.
I don't know if it changes like that much, but I was just curious to see what happens. Gino is a persuader, which makes perfect sense.
Interesting.
Persuader just means that, like, just much of a very social creature is pretty
Mm.
much what it means. But that's what mine were. What were you guys' PIs?
Oh man, I forgot.
I think this if he ends up doing it again, he'll probably end up a maverick. But I think it was a persuader, kind of like
Yeah, it
Gino.
was a Persuader. Yeah.
Yeah. What about you,
Yeah,
Hector?
and for me, it was a maverick.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. I think, like, man, it's just like at the end of the day, it's like we just both want to win, and like we
Yep.
just do what it takes. That's
Right.
like I
Yeah.
think that we're both the dynamic would be we're both just winners, man. Like at the end of the day, it's like we're gonna do what it takes. We got the
Yeah.
vision in place, so we know we both want to do. We know what we're trying to accomplish, and we just focus on getting it done. And I think the big thing is like valuing education. I think that's another thing that we both are super high on. Like, man, the only
Mhm.
reason we're even close to where we're at is because we paid a lot of people to teach us a lot of stuff.
Right.
Business is just information arbitrage, which just means that, like, the only reason, and not necessarily that this is in a bad way, but because I use, like, we use money as like the scoreboard, but maybe you can say helping people, whatever it is, but money's the easy one to say. But usually people who make more only make more because they know more. Like the reason we're able to wholesale houses and a flipper's not is because we know how to market and find off market sellers. They don't know how. So we're able to
Mhm.
make more than them or do things
Right.
that are different than them. And they are able to buy houses for more expensive prices than us because they know how to remodel. They know how to move
Mm.
walls. They know how to make concepts better.
Yeah.
So it's like, give and take. But the only reason they do what they do and we do what we do is because they know something we don't know. So that's what
Yeah.
we've been really focused on,
Right. Yeah.
just learning as much as possible.
That's
Awesome, man.
awesome.
But yeah, I want to talk about, so besides Ryan impacting you guys in your partnership, and right, with Ryan Patenda as well, just for everyone to know. What else has been like a big thing? 'Cause y'all are like coaches for him now too, right?
Yeah, I think for me, when I first started following Ryan, it was before he had the huge following. And like I can, this is before I even knew him. Like I can send him a DM and he would answer a question. Just a super genuine guy.
Mm.
And he was one of the first entrepreneurs in real estate that was like bold with like posting about his faith, his family, just all around guy, everything that he did. And that's what drew me to follow him and just be curious and interested in what he was putting out. So So when he had launched the Mastermind, Hector and I was like, man, you joining? I was like, yeah, let's do it, type thing. And this is like when it first, like, I would say probably a couple months in of it kicking off, when it wasn't as many people. But as far as like just um, what we've learned from him, or what I've learned from him, is just all about going back to that B word, the balance, balancing your family life, balance your work, your business, balancing your spiritual life, balancing working out, even though I probably should do a better job like Chandler, but but yeah, just having that mindset of just having an all around life, and not just really focusing on work, because part of the reason, like going back to part of the reason why I left my corporate job, which I was getting paid really well, is because I wanted to, I was working like 9 to 5, 9 to 6, 9 to 8 sometimes, and sitting in traffic and stuff. So I want a better quality of life. So I had to make that pivot. I had to make that change. I had to take that risk to put myself and my family in a much better position to have a well balanced life. So just being able to witness how he operates in that space of having a well balanced life as a high earner entrepreneur who gives back a lot. Like, he gives back a lot,
Mhm.
and it just makes me want to like just strive to at least get a percentage of that, not all of it, just a percentage of it. Let me just get a piece of it, type thing. So it just encourages me to be around people like that. And then as far as like most of the individuals that are in the mastermind, like most of the people have that same type of at least mindset that he has. Like, he draws the people that have a similar mindset to him. So just getting to know most of those guys is another value add, just being around, just being connected with him. So
I like it.
Yeah, I mean, for me, yeah, obviously Ryan has been a big influential piece, and I don't want to make this podcast all about him, but
yeah.
but yeah, I mean, honestly, I would say, yeah, the guys. I can't. I was sitting here thinking, like, is there anyone else that has impacted the way we do business, or not? I mean, I would say just the community around him, like Vince said, and the people that we've gotten to listen to. Like at the masterminds and things. Another guy for me was Gary Sharper, that really like just added a ton of value to the way we do business, and just the importance of like, dude, you got to document your business. You got to have like KPIs. You got to have, you know, accounting. You have to have onboarding documents. Like, if you're doing this full time and you want to make this real estate career a legit full on business, you need all these different things. So I would say Gary was pretty impactful for me. But yeah, I mean, obviously there was like bigger podcast and bigger pockets podcast, and just other people in real estate. But I would say those two would be the ones that, like, yeah. And then Gino and Chandler, those guys are pretty rock solid. Uh, we've learned a ton from them, and yeah.
Dude, I love it. I love it. I think those are two great people. Gary Harper is a phenomenal human being as well. That's like, I'm telling you, dude, like that at the end of the day, there's some people who are just genuine. Like, you can just tell, man, they're just good people.
Yeah.
And like Gary, Ryan, those are two dudes that are just studs. They're great dudes. So I guess we can get back on the real estate topic. If you whatever we can talk about, we can talk
For
about
sure.
anything, man. Because I have a couple questions too, like
Let's do it.
about, actually, before we get on real estate, I got one more question, because this is like more of a kind of a selfish question. But one of the things one of the things I struggle with is like being super connected with my family like all the time. Like, I'm like, that's like the only thing that I feel like I kind of like not lack in my life, because I still call my mom like, most of like once every 2 weeks usually, and like talk to her. But like, how do you guys balance that and like prioritize this? Because like, I'm asking for myself too, because like I suck. I'm terrible at it.
Hmm. You want to go
I'll let
first?
Vince go first.
Oh, okay. So as far as my family that I guess that I see every day and live with, it's one of those things where, and I know it's a cliche, people say communication is key. And in my household, I try to be, and I'm a man of little words, and my wife hates that about me. But I when I got into entrepreneurship, I had to do a much better job of communicating to her what what I needed for her to understand, like so that I can get the things done that I need to get done. And when I first started it, I did a horrible job of doing that. I'm much better now, but I did a horrible job of doing that. So it's kind of always some type of disagreement or argument at home and stuff like that. But I kind of found out, I came to find out that all I needed to do was communicate what the expectation was and what I was trying to reach and the goals that I wanted to reach and obtain and stuff, and bring her on the ride, like, and make her feel a part of it. Not even that she's a part of the day to day, just basically sharing with her what are the goals that we're trying to accomplish and what are the things that we're trying to accomplish and why I need to stay until 6 o'clock and do this podcast with Chandler when I should be home playing with the boys type thing. Just stuff like that. When you communicate it and how you communicate it is definitely important, at least from a family dynamic. But I would probably say when it comes to my family in Florida, I'm horrible. Like we're communicating with them. Like it's just I always feel like there's not enough hours in a day to like pick up the phone and call my mom, my dad, my grandma, who's in Florida, who's at a distance to me. So it's always an argument between me and them. It's like, dang, it's been 2 weeks, you haven't spoke to me type thing. Um, so I struggle with that, but I'm definitely getting better at it because it's really important. Because when you're in those downtimes and you're struggling and stuff like that, you have to be able to connect with your internal family and also your family that's at a distance. So it's super important. But as far as like my family dynamic that's here with me in Georgia, like it's just all about communicating. And my wife is a great communicator, and she challenges me to communicate much better every day. So
I like it.
Yeah, man. For me, it's like my wife says it like this, and it's gonna like hurt a little bit, right? And it hurts me every time. But dude, it's you prioritize what's important to you. You know what I mean? And like, dude, it's true. Like it's like a dagger, right? Yeah, exactly, because it's true. And whenever there's been conversations, arguments, or whatever with my wife, it's like, Hector, I don't want to hear it. Like, you prioritize what's important to you, and she's absolutely right. Like, if work is important to you, you're gonna prioritize it. If making $1 million is gonna be important to you, you're gonna prioritize it. If you prioritize things that you deem important, and for me, yeah, like Vince, it's been a struggle as well. But honestly, like I've gotten to this point in my life where, like, you have to make a conscious effort, just like you make a conscious effort in your business. You know what I mean? To use Chandler as an example, like, you make a conscious effort to be a better athlete, right? Because you want to get better. We there's a real estate saying that goes around. It's like, 1% better every day. Well, yeah, apply that to your relationships. You know
yeah.
what I mean? Apply that
Mhm.
to the people that really matter. And the last thing I'll say on that topic is, like, for me, I've really had to understand this concept the hard way, and it's come from a place of pain. And I don't want to go deep in this podcast like I've done in some others, but or in this
Trying to like
live,
do it.
because, like, I was sharing in another podcast, like, dude, when you've been through some pain and you've been through like challenges. I lost my father when I was 13 years old, and he died of cancer, and like that makes you like immediately closer to your family and people that you care about.
Yeah.
And then, fast forward, you begin to lose people that you really care about in your life, uh, in your adult years. And then you begin to realize, like, damn, like, this is not about money. It's not about anything else other than relationships. And I think
Yeah.
I think I just posted something like this on my Instagram, but it's like, for me, relationships are what matters, because I think it's the memories that you create that you take with you. You know what I'm saying? They say, yeah,
Mhm.
you don't take anything to heaven or whatever, but the only thing that people can't take away from you, they can take away a house, they can take away your money, but they can't take away your memories. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? It's like, for me, it's like, you have to create those moments and those memories. And I'll tell you what, if you want some practical advice on how to create these memories, and you want some practical applicable things to do right now to get you to that 1% better relationships, everybody should read this book. It's called The Power of a Moment. And
Mm,
it's a book that literally just talks about creating moments in your life that actually matter. And if you think about it, Chandler, like, dude, we live our life based on moments. Like, think
yeah,
about it, right? Yesterday, there was a moment that you remember. You don't remember it the whole day. Like, you remember a
yeah,
moment.
yeah.
You know, your Iron Man that you did, you remember that moment when you was
Right.
drowned, right?
Yeah.
Like, you because that was a
Yeah.
meaningful, impactful. It took, like, your emotions were invested in it, your senses were invested in it,
Hmm.
your spirit, your energy, your soul was invested in it, like, and it created this moment. So the
Yeah.
book talks about creating that moment with your senses, with your emotions, with your soul, the smell, the sound of it. And so that's, how I think people should create memories, create
Yeah.
moments. So, like, one thing that I try to do with my kids sounds simple, but like, I try to create those moments, right? I can play with them every single day and wrestle with them and teach them how to be great wrestlers, like Chandler saying. But I can't always create that moment. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I
Yeah.
can only create the moment if I'm adding these, like, senses or these sounds or this sensory however you call that, into the moment. So that's kind of my
I,
response to your
I think
question.
I think
I,
Chandler is
I think you
frozen.
froze up.
Yeah. He just texted me. He said he's coming back.
uh,
Oh my God.
Man, I was
That was some
getting
good
in
stuff,
I was
man.
getting into deep.
I was feeling it. Let's see if he can get back in. Uh, oh, they just kicked him out. What happened? Yeah, he just texted me and said his computer
He's
shut off.
coming
Oh
back.
man.
That's
I hope they have a good editing team.
well, yeah, I don't know who's supposed to edit this podcast. Anyway,
Oh man, you just missed the moment, Chandler.
we literally just created a moment right now.
Dude, my computer just literally said, "Nah, bro, we're just restarting
Oh
with no
man,
buttons
you've
pressed."
been working too hard.
That's funny. But
Dude,
yeah, dude, I don't
hardly
know how much
working.
you
I'm
heard
just
of
kidding.
that, but yeah.
I
Do you
heard
have any?
like everything. Just create the moment. I just
Yeah,
left. I think it like very like 2 seconds ago. But I wanted to add something on that. I think the power of a moment is like that's a fact. You definitely only remember small things. And like as soon as you said that, the first thing that came to my head is funny. I'm not gonna share it on here, but the moment that came to my head is hilarious. So I started laughing. But
I don't want to know
the
about that moment.
I know, right?
I know. But
That's funny.
I can't even say it. I can't even say it. But so the thing I wanted to say that you hit home with is it's all about relationships. And I realized this probably about a year ago when I moved to Denver. I left all my friends, all my family in Georgia, and I moved to Denver, right? And about like 2 or 3 weeks in, I'm like alone. I'm like, oh, I love this place. It's so cool. I can go outdoors. I can do whatever I want. Got all the things I want to do. But I was like not like I wasn't like depressed, but I was like kind of sad for like a couple of days. I was like, dang, what's going on with me? Like, I feel down. And it's like I was like realized I was like, dude, it's because I don't have any friends here. And then like I realized, and
Yeah,
I like started making friends, and like everything turned around. It was like I love Denver now. I love this city. It's a great place to be. But before I was like, man, I might just leave. Like this
yeah,
isn't for me. And it's literally just because of the people who are there. It's not about where, it's the people who you're with.
yeah, for
And I
sure.
think that's one of the biggest things that I've taken away from
That's
doing
true.
that.
That's awesome, man.
That's
But
awesome.
yeah, boys. So I guess let's get off the deep train and let's get onto the real estate train. So I like those conversations. So those are my favorite types of conversations.
Me too.
So guys, y'all are doing, break down your business model for everyone else here. So what are you guys doing mostly?
So we mostly fix and flip pretty much all of the deals that we get. And we do a little bit of wholesaling here and there, but I think our forte, our bread and butter has been fix and flips. And right now, currently, I think we have about 12 or 13 actual fix and flips. So that would include about, 6 different crews that are working with us and for us. Um, like I said, we have wholesales that we do occasionally. And then right now we're shifting into the short-term rental side with the Airbnb. So we're getting property renovated to hit the market hopefully in July, and Marietta, and then another one in Smyrna. So we're seeing some really uh, amazing stuff with short-term rentals, man. So we're gonna try and hop on that train.
I like it. I like it. Go ahead,
Oh no, I was just
Vince.
gonna add on. Yeah, we definitely found our bread and butter and our strategy that worked well is the fix and flip game. For a number of different reasons. One, because we have an in-house sales team that we can get deals at that discount, and we can flip it and make a much more than if we wholesale it. And then two is because of our project management team, like the resources that we have on our project management side is is much more and much more powerful than our some of our competitors who fix and flip, to allow us to be able to do those 12 properties in production and also have those things ready to be on the market and stuff like that. So that's the biggest part of how we can do so much volume on the fix and flip scale, because we have a pretty good project management team that we're still working to get better at, but we have a solid team that basically that runs that show and make sure that everything lines up so that we can be able to flip those properties. Because I think if you're going to flip at least more than 3 properties, then you have to have a project management team that can definitely handle the contractor, handle the different scopes of works, handle all of the issues that arise throughout the project and stuff like that. So
Yeah, man, construction is a nightmare. Like I'm just thinking about too is like because I'm thinking about from the project management point of view, like the pipeline. Like we have like 32 deals in escrow right now, and we're just
mhm.
wholesaling them. It's like we're not doing any construction. If we were doing construction like like rehabs or like I don't know what we're gonna get into what are y'all strategies right now, but if we're doing like any repairs, cosmetic, gut, whatever, man, I would probably like lose all my hair. Like there's like no way I would want to do any of that. So
Dude, it is super stressful for sure to do 13, flips at a time, where
Super.
you're managing the floors being ordered, the paint being ordered, the hardware, the lights, the roof being changed, the freaking foundation or plumbing, electric. I mean, it's a lot. It's a
I
lot.
imagine accounting is just a nightmare as well.
Oh
Counting,
yeah,
Like,
oh yeah, that's another beast.
I
dude,
think we just like Vince said, right? So like when you compare our wholesale operation to our fix and flip operation, we have as many heads, I would say, like in our project management side than like what a wholesaler would have in his follow-ups, virtual callers or VAs or whatever have
Yeah,
you, right? Like
yeah,
we have the
hmm
same, but just in this capacity.
yeah.
So yeah, we have like three really full-time people that are, well, two full-time, one part-time now, but that are really like just looking at the project itself. And then we have a bookkeeper that literally handles like the transactions and on these.
every receipt, every Home
Yeah,
Depot
every
receipt.
Home Depot purchase, like, bro, I bought my dishwasher for free from just all the friggin' purchases we've made in Home Depot. So all the perks that you get are wonderful, but it's a lot. But dude, we just got it, I think, to a process, a systemized process where like we're knocking out flips in 4 weeks. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like quick. And
Mhm.
our system's pretty dialed in now, but didn't used to be that way. You know what I mean? So we're still learning like
Yeah,
every
we're still
day.
learning
You know
for
what I
sure.
mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I
And
love it. So go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say, and we really try to cherry pick what we fix and flip. I gotta say that, like, we have done full guts, we've done additions to properties, we've done pretty much all levels of construction you can imagine, but we try to stick with like the turn and burns, cosmetic rehab, and basically a hotel strategy. That's pretty much our approach.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
also another thing we look at is trying to stay on the outskirts of Atlanta. We have taken deals in Atlanta and in South Atlanta, but most of our deals are on the outskirts in Cobb County, Gwinnett County, Cherokee County, and those areas where we know there's not a lot of flippers and inventory that's going to be competing with our flip type thing. So we just try to
Mhm.
get strategic with that as well.
Yeah, probably a little less red tape from the city and the county too.
Much more.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
So
You
okay,
gotta,
so
I mean,
go ahead.
much less. Sorry.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's fine.
much less, but you still gotta you deal with like stop work orders and getting permits, like all that adds to your holding costs. Like
Mhm.
if you're not on top of your game, yeah, you can really go
Time
bankrupt
is
quick.
time is money, man. Especially when you got like 1% a month loans or whatever y'all are getting.
Yeah,
Interest like it adds up.
for
But
sure.
okay, so let's talk about this. So you guys said something that I think is interesting. You said you're making more from wholesaling and doing light rehabs than you are if you just wholesaled it. So what are you guys seeing from doing this versus like because for us like what we saw is like maybe we just suck at doing it and maybe we didn't do enough, or maybe it was like a locational thing, or maybe there's something we're not looking at. But when we like realized we were doing like small rehabs or small cosmetic stuff, we're like not really getting much more money than what we could just sell as is with no updates. So maybe we're missing something, or maybe we just did our math wrong.
I
So
think for us, and I'll let Vince answer after this what he thinks, but for us, the way I look at it, it's like it keeps the lights on, right? So what I mean by that is like if we take on a flip or a hotel that, yeah, maybe we could have wholesaled and maybe made a little less or maybe close to the same if we hotel it or just list it as is. But the reality is like we want to keep our contractors busy with our stuff, right? And so the way we approach it sometimes it's like we pick up a project so that the money can be deployed so that the contractors can stay busy with us, and
mhm,
uh and then we can continue to have these employees that we have busy and occupied. So sometimes one out of those 10 deals may be strictly for that purpose. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
mhm,
So yeah, not all of them may be profitable, even though they are profitable. But the profit, what I mean, is really
yeah,
going to an operational cost rather than like in our pocket per se.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
more important to keep your good guys on your
Yeah,
team
the
than to have them.
machine operating and
For
the
sure.
car running. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then also, I mean, it's also part of it is paying attention to what the market is giving you, and because I mean, now we got a lot of hedge funds in the market. Uh, We don't know how long that's going to be the case, so it's just more so just being in tune with what's going on in the market, having conversations with people who's doing it at a high level in this market, talking to agents, talking to other wholesalers, just basically having an ear out to what's going on in the market, so that. When you do have situations where you have some inventory and you're deciding your exit strategy, you at least have uh, um, the knowledge of what's actually going on in the market to make a better decision. But I think it comes down to also, like I said before, just the resources too, because though you guys may be able to rehab a property for 20 or 30K, we can probably get that same rehab done for 15 or 20K, something like that. So so
Yeah.
so so we
100%.
have so we have more property. I mean, we have more profit because we can get the rehab done at a cheaper cost type thing. So just basically just looking at those type of things based off of our resources that we have. And then also it could be the fact that you guys don't, it's not that you guys struggled in that area, it just wasn't you guys' focus type thing.
Mhm.
Like we build our flips and flip process up to this point. It wasn't always at this point type thing. We build it up to this point, going through issues and challenges to the point where we feel comfortable taking on that 15 or 20K profit deal just to keep our project managers busy or our contractors busy type thing. So it was a lot of groundwork that had to be built up to the point. Just like for you guys, there's a lot of groundwork built up from the wholesaling aspect of it. A lot of relationships build, a lot of disposition side, like relationship that
Mhm.
you guys have to continue to feed and stuff like that you guys build up for, that makes it a little bit efficient for you guys to just dispose those deals and make that 20 or 15 or whatever that fee is.
Yep. Yep. I agree. I'm sure like at some point that well, okay, so let me ask this is maybe a better question. is how do you guys build up your vendor list?
Our vendor list, like our contractors and stuff.
Yeah, your contractors. Sorry.
Yeah, and before I answer that question, I want to add too that the reality for our business is like we're actually not getting so many of our own deals. Like a lot
Yeah.
of the deals that we're getting are realtor referrals, listed deals that we're putting offers in, and then some of our own deals. But when you factor that in, then they make more sense as a fix and flip rather than a wholesale, obviously,
Yeah.
because it's been referred to from another wholesaler or whatever.
Mhm.
And so now it's like, okay, the deals are coming to us rather than us paying marketing to get these deals, right? So like we did a 6-figure flip that was brought with zero marketing. That was just a network connection that we had. So that's where we've kind of been playing in this field. So I'm sure that if we shifted the model, and we are right little by little, it's like doing more wholesaling. I'm sure that would then like tip over to the other side. But anyway, as far as vendors and contractors, I know that's a big question in like the real estate arena, with people wanting to get into investing and wanting to get fix and flips and stuff under the belt. The reality is for us, uh, it was a couple of different things. Number one, it was people that I knew personally, having worked from that working at that construction company. So it was just kind of second nature to ask, like, hey, who's doing this? Who's doing that? Number one. Number two, obviously the community that we're a part of, I would say, in our church, we go to a Latino speaking church, right? Hispanic church. So obviously that we know that that's where most of the labor force comes from in those spaces. So naturally, we're going to develop more relationships than the average person that's not in those communities. So, you should start going to a Spanish church, Chandler.
You're
But
invited, Chandler.
yeah, but
So
seriously,
no,
like
it's
it's true. Like we've never had to like put ads out for
mhm,
contractors to come and find us, because we know people, and those people know people, and those people know people, and that's how we build up our vendor list. And then, yeah, I would say that.
And then also I mean, also that added on to what Hector just said, we brought on somebody in that from that arena who deals with other contractors, so was able to, as far as like our project manager, so who has his resources. So it's kind of like a web. It's kind of like things.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, we add
So it's
value
like
to him by letting him be our project manager, and we pay him well, and he also bring his contacts to our projects that we're working on, type thing. So
and then his contacts know people too,
oh,
and then you
correct.
just keep
there
on
you go.
going.
See.
Because so like construction is like part of the reason I'm not, I'm not a construction guy, but my dad has a landscape construction company where they do like big retaining walls and like patio, backyard, just whatever you would do in a backyard, they do it. And dude, the Hispanic culture, man, they work so hard and they do amazing work. Like
Mhm.
it's honestly like I wouldn't even want like I wouldn't want someone like me doing the work because I would do a shitty job. And like I just wouldn't care. So I'd be like, dude, this thing sucks, man. I hate this work. But I'm telling you, man, like
Yeah,
You're
that's
funny,
funny.
Chandler.
I couldn't do it, man. I did it all through high school, man. I built so many retaining walls in my day. I could tell you how to do it. I could do it. I could,
Yeah.
I could do it, but it's not my favorite thing. But yeah, long story short, your construction sucks. We'll just end it
Yeah.
with
Yeah,
that. But
it's
okay, so
definitely. Yeah.
what's like your high level process? So you guys get a piece of inventory that comes in a property. You guys get under contract. You're closing on it. From a high level, how does it work for y'all's flipping side?
Go ahead,
Good.
Vince.
I mean, that's more.
Y'all are both,
I mean,
y'all both
if
smiling
we're
over here.
closing on it, we're gonna flip it. So I mean, it's basically in Hector's hand as far
Yeah.
as like the project management part.
Yeah,
So
so like, Vince brings a deal, or whoever brings a deal. What we'll do is we basically obviously take a look at the pictures. We've gotten, I mean, we kind of just looking at pictures, we kind of
Yeah.
know just what it's gonna take. I mean, you guys do that too, right? When you're
Yeah, we
hosting,
don't.
like,
We just go and look at pictures. We bought houses with things that aren't in the pictures. That's for
Yeah, oh, for sure. We do. We have to.
like, where was this in the pictures, man? Like this crack this big in the wall. Like, come
yeah,
on now.
exactly. Yeah, so we look at pictures first and we kind of estimate a number. If we're gonna fix and flip it, we definitely send somebody out. So our in-house project manager, shout out to Max. This guy, like, he goes out and he basically can pretty much pinpoint where we're gonna be at on a cosmetic level flip. We try to stay away from new additions and stuff like that, but he can do that if we need him to. So he'll go out, he'll look at it, he'll bring a GC in with him, just to get an idea, a GC that's working on a project already or whatever. And then they'll come up with an estimate, and then that estimate gets looked at, by us. And we kind of make the final decision, we're going to hire that contractor or not, which most of the time we already know, who can do that level of a flip. They'll go in day one, and we're getting to a point now where we have, obviously, contractor agreements. We have a construction guideline, of like basically what you're going to do and how you're going to do it. So like a contractor guide, and they try to stick to that design as best as possible. That's another thing that, we kind of picked up, just trying to keep rehabs the same so that we know like how much paint's going to be, how much hardware is going to be, how much granite's going to be. So we try to keep it all the same so that we know like this is the cost that is going to be included. And yeah, and then it goes through a process of like, obviously our field supervisor will go out once a week and take pictures so that Vince and I don't have to go out to the property, so we could be literally anywhere and know the status of that project. So we have him take pictures, they get uploaded to a drive. He has a checklist that he follows and checks off, making sure that the project's moving along. And we brought on my father-in-law, who's he's got 25 years of project management experience, that now we're gonna get it even more lean and get it even more, fine tuned, where we have a nat chart and like calendarized system of when, cabinets are gonna go in, when paint is gonna happen, like day by day. So we're at a point in the next week, we'll be at a point where every day in my email, I'll wake up and I'll see what's happening at which property and what percentage of completion it's at, and how much of a budget we've spent on that project. So every Monday we sit down with the project management team, and they have a PowerPoint presentation of three main things: budget, progress, and red flags or items that we need to talk about. And they got graphs and nifty stuff. And now it's gotten really lean, bro, like super lean, where it's like, okay, like we can pick up another flip because I feel confident in the team that's delivering results. And it's the project management, the senior project management, in a sense, goes to the project manager, and then the field supervisor or runner, it's running around doing certain things.
That email and that presentation just sounds sexy.
Yeah,
I'm just like,
that's right. That's right up your alley, Tim.
pretty bad, bro.
I love that. That's my shit right there.
It's like the graph that you guys post every once in a while, like with the deals in the pipelines, etc.
Yeah.
Very similar to that, just in a
Project
flipping
management. Yeah.
management.
Dude, yeah, that's one thing we're actually working on right now is like a really complicated, like a really thorough and predictable inventory management system for our deals. Because like that's one of the things, like, dude, as you get, you guys know it too, because y'all have way more shit flying everywhere than we do. But with doing all the, dude, I can only imagine like how many cans of paint, like, dude, I would freak out having to do all that. But like just with all the deals, like 30 deals, like where are they all at? How much, when are they going to close? What's the progress? What's the status? Like, what's this? What's that? What's that? And then like, you got to know, and you got to be able to project out, because what we're realizing too, and I'm sure you guys do as well, is like when you get a contract and it takes 60 days to sell it and make money, you're not really agile. like if you realize you wake up tomorrow and you're like, oh shoot, like it's September 1st, I'm not going to make any money this month. You're not making any money this month because you're not fast. You're not able to turn the wheel fast enough, you know?
Right.
So you got to be able to look at that and know September, I'm not going to make money in May. And then, or like, what would that be? What's 2 months before September? That's July 1st. Yeah. July, you should be able to wake up and say, oh, I'm not going to make much money in September. I better get a lot of deals. And then you got to be able to, so it's a constant battle, man. It's just, you got to see further in the future.
Yeah. Are you guys developing that software? Are you?
Oh, we're going to do it in Salesforce.
Okay.
Salesforce.
Yeah. Dude, if y'all aren't on Salesforce, man, if y'all, I mean, it's a beast to get up and running, but dude, it would probably make your life a little easier once you got it going.
I just got familiar with Podio for everything, so we're gonna be on Podio for a while.
Dude, get your wife to learn how to do it. She's an engineer, man.
She's far removed from engineering. Like, she doesn't even remember most of that stuff. She's all about taking care of the kids and me. That's it.
I know, man. That's right.
But she may, I don't know. But what I wanted to add on to as far as the project management piece, usually when we get a deal from the sales team to basically in progress to figuring out the exit strategy. Usually we always at least get an ideal of from the either project management team of what we think the rehab is going to be, just to make sure that our numbers align with what we project on that particular deal and stuff like that. So that could look like a number of different ways. That can look like when we schedule for our walkthrough, us having our field manager go out and take the pictures, because he does really good at taking the pictures, and having our project manager look at the pictures and tell us what he think is going to be, or it can be our project manager actually going to the property as he's available before we purchase it, to actually give us that number. And sometimes that helps, because having someone like your project manager going back and seeing these things, you can always go back and renegotiate if he see that crack in the wall and stuff like that. So our first line of defense is always to try to have someone from our project management team go and look at the pictures. Go and look at the property, like as a walkthrough. But of course, that's not always the case, because they're super busy working on X amount of properties. Then it's like, okay, who's next to go look at these properties? Do we find somebody and pay them $50 to go take these pictures, or do we hire a photographer, or if it's close enough, do I go look at it, or do Hector go look at it, do somebody else from our team go look at it, type thing. So it's just it's kind of the same similar process. It's just that we're not wholesaling it, we're just buying it to flip, type thing.
Yeah. I like it. I think the construction side of it's fascinating, how dialed in you guys get, because it's just like, if not, man, you would lose so much money. Like, literally, you would come broke.
There's a lot of money on the line, for sure.
Yeah. So we got a couple more minutes left here, but I got one more question. What's the absolute hardest part about what y'all do?
The hardest.
Yeah. What's the hardest part about your day, Hector?
For me, waking up. No, I'm kidding. Man, the hardest part, man, I enjoy what I do, bro. Like, I really come in and I enjoy it. There's no real hard part, but I tell you what, today we got a citation from the city of Sandy Springs, because we're doing a flip where we built a deck and we needed permits for it. And the letter literally said I was going to get arrested if I didn't show up to court. Like, they were a little dramatic.
Just a little bit.
Because it's technically like what they did was a stop work order, just more aggressively. But I would say that's the hardest part of the job. It's like the risk you take, you know what I mean? Like, dude, somebody can get hurt, and as a contractor, a plumbing, situation can arise, a pipe could burst, and you freaking gotta go figure that out, So I would say that's the hardest part, but everything has a solution, everything can be figured out. So you gotta just plan accordingly.
Yeah, something I heard not too long ago, maybe like a year ago. So if you got enough money, to solve the problem doesn't really exist.
Yeah,
for
Exactly.
Yeah, and I
But
think just to go back with what Hector saying, the rest, when you have so many projects in production, the small thing is usually the things that keep you up at night. And Hector shared this with the team in the meeting on Monday. Like, if we forget to put insurance on the property and we buy it and we're rehabbing and something happens, then like that can take us out of business. So just just understanding that risk and paying attention to those small details and making sure that we do a good job of as leadership of developing people the right way and giving them the right resources to be the best in their role. Holding them accountable, that's always a challenge, but holding people accountable to the standard and the expectations that you need them to perform. And then also just on a productivity level, just making sure that that person is in the right seat or that's doing what they need to do that you need them to do for the company and producing at a high level type thing. So those are the type of things that you want to definitely think about in this business. And I wouldn't say that's the part that I dislike, even though that's the part that maybe draws a lot of like challenges. But I would say I look at it from the sense of what can I do as a leader to get better and develop the people that we bring on so that those small little things don't become an issue or those things don't become a challenge for our company type thing.
hmm I like it. People are definitely the absolute hardest part about anything because that's the only thing that's variable. Like you can standardize how much paint goes on the wall or what kind of wood you use in your cabinets and all that kind of stuff or how they do the nails. I don't know what you guys standardize with that, but like you put 3 nails in this drywall. I don't know.
Negative.
But but dude, yeah, people, man, it's a constant challenge. I love it. I love every bit of it.
Yeah,
But, man,
it's a
it's a
challenge for
nightmare.
sure.
It's
Yeah.
a night. It's a love hate relationship. But anyway, so I'm gonna make an announcement real quick. You guys think about what you want to leave the listeners with.
Okay.
So on what is it? May 26th. Yeah, May 26th. We are having an event in Atlanta. Eric Brewer is coming down to do the speech to our meetup. Everyone, we'd love to see you there. We're going to be putting on our Instagram stories, mine and Gino's. So make sure you show up to that. It'll be probably 7 p.m. On the 26th somewhere. There'll be beer, drinks, food, whatever. Cool people there. So make sure you're there. It's going to be a great time. Other than that, boys, what do you guys got for everyone?
Yeah, no, I would just want to say thank you, Chandler, Gino, for having us on, man. It's a pleasure always networking with you guys and connecting. We're going to have you on our podcast really, really soon when we get that going. We'll hit you up. But yeah, if anybody wants to connect with us, we're an open book. We'd love to share our experiences, our wins, our failures, etc. Hector Martinez .rei on all social media. And yeah, we'll catch you next time. Go ahead, Vince.
Yeah, my social media is at Invest with Vince on IG. But yeah, what I want to leave the listeners with is, well, first and foremost, thank you, Gino and Chandler, for having us here. It definitely was fun. As you guys can see, this is a little bit out of my element, but I like it. I'm more of a behind the scenes guy. But yeah, what I want to leave the listeners with is just there's so much in this real estate space that you can do, and I want everyone to just leave with having the mindset of figuring out what is that one thing that they want to accomplish or what they want to do in this real estate space, and just having that mindset of just taking massive action on it. Because me, I'm super accessible in the sense of people ask me questions all the time. I have like probably 10 plus calls a week with just people who looking to get into real estate, and sometimes it can be overwhelming, but I enjoy doing it. But the common thing that I see among many of them is that they spend a lot of time just analyzing small details and not taking any action. And I just want to encourage everybody, if you really want to go on with real estate, just make sure you find that area that you want to focus on, fix and flip, buy and hold, wholesaling, and take massive action, and also just take massive action, and also get as educated as possible in that respective space. So that's what I want to leave them with. And yeah.
Fire.
Love it. Well spoken, my man.
All right.
Well spoken. We'll see you guys next week, 6 p.m. Appreciate you guys coming and
Next
dropping
week.
some great knowledge.
See you,
Thanks,
Chandler.
I'll see
Thanks for
y'all
having
again.
us.
Y'all are here. Y'all are co-hosting next week.
Oh man, thanks,
All
Chandler.
right.
Appreciate you.
See you, fellas.